Welcome to Security Speakeasy Show, where we talk about all things cybersecurity. So I'm Meenakshi Sahgal, Product Marketing from Palo Alto Networks. I have with me Dr. Mei Wang, our CTO for IoT Security. Last time when Dr. Wang and I talked about, we were discussing, why machine learning is crucial to discovering and securing IoT devices. And in this episode, we will talk about a CISO's guide to IoT security. So what are the best practices? What should they be looking for in an IoT security solution? So Dr. Wang, it's always a pleasure to get to know your insights on securing unmanaged IoT devices. So in your experience, why securing IoTs is becoming a hot topic for CISOs today?
Yeah, Meenakshi, as you know, that IoT is relevant to everybody in every business nowadays, and our work and life rely on these smart devices. And we see three main reasons that IoT security is becoming such a hot topic today. Number one is we're seeing increasing amount of IoT devices. As we mentioned before, of all the devices we're seeing, about 30% of them are already IoT devices, and we only see that number growing every single day. For example, in healthcare, now we see the brand new medical devices being deployed in hospitals. 40% of them are connected onto the network, which doubled compared to 20% several years ago. So number one is increasing number of IoT devices. Number two is increasing number of attacks. As we all know, we heard about Stuxnet, Mirai, WannaCry, NotPetya, and increasing amount of zero-day attacks as well. These attacks not only targeted at IT devices, but also increasing amount of attacks are targeted at IoT devices. And the third reason is the increasing amount of risks and challenges. For IoT devices, if these devices are compromised, not only the enterprise will have data leakage, their business livelihood will be impacted, but also that means people's lives are at risk because these IoT devices are in critical infrastructure in real operations. And as a CISO, now they're having more responsibilities. Not only they need to be in charge of IT security, but also in charge of IoT security. And because of all the requirements of compliance and business continuities, and also we are seeing the boundaries between enterprise devices and consumer devices are getting more and more blurry. And lots of devices not even brought on board by IT teams. They can be brought by procurement teams, operation teams, financial teams, etc. But it's the CISO's responsibility to guarantee the security of all these devices. That's why we're seeing IoT security is becoming such a hot topic, not just for CISOs, but also even in the boardroom discussions.
That makes sense. I was reading a report recently, and I saw that in the first half of 2021, they were about 1.5 billion attacks on IoT devices, and that's about 100% increase in cyber attacks on all these unmanaged IoT devices. And that makes sense, and what you just talked about. And I know, Dr. Wang, you've been involved directly or indirectly with NIST, HIPAA, and other such entities to establish best practices for securing these IoT devices. So in your expert opinion, what is the right methodology or approach to secure these IoT devices? Or in other words, what should CISOs look for when they are looking to implement and purchase an IoT security solution?
Yeah, we're actually very glad to see IoT security is getting more attention from both the private sector and the public sector. We're seeing increasing number of government policymakers are putting resources and efforts and working with industry to come up with new guidelines on how to better secure IoT devices. A huge amount of deployments we have been doing in the real world, and also by talking to a large amount of customers, we actually found almost every single customer is looking for an integrated solution for IoT security. And when we talk about integrated solution, we mean it in multiple aspects. Customers are looking for integrated solution between IT and IoT. From our experience, we actually see some large enterprises have even more than 150 security tools. So nobody wants another standalone security tool to manage. It's very important to have a single pane glass for customers to be able to manage IT devices and IoT devices at the same time, and also can leverage many existing security services and integrated all these security services together. For example, at Palo Alto Networks, not only we can provide device context and combine it with our IP technologies, and also we can leverage many other security, threat prevention, data loss prevention services, and to fill in the IoT blind spot with the additional device context, it elevates the overall security posture of any enterprise. And the second aspect of integration is visibility, real-time monitoring, and enforcement. Not only is it important to have the visibility to know what devices you have, how many of them you have on your network at any given time, but also whenever there's abnormal behaviors or any attacks happens, it's very important that you're able to take policy enforcement, do quarantine of these devices. And at Palo Alto Networks, leveraging machine learning technologies, we actually have built-in prevention to prevent not only known threats, but also unknown threats, especially with the increasing amount of zero-day attacks now. That's a very important feature to have. And the third aspect of integration is the easy deployment and scalability to integrate with existing infrastructure so that when you adopt an IoT security solution, you don't need to make any infrastructure change. You don't need additional physical space. And that's very important for CISOs to minimize the total cost of ownership. Inevitably, your number of IoT devices is going to increase. Say, if this year you have 10,000 devices and next year you're going to have 20,000 devices. With this kind of scalable, easy to deploy solution, you don't need to make dramatic infrastructure change next year, and platform can support you to any number of IoT devices you're going to have in the future. So overall, in summary, we see there's a huge demand on the integrated IoT security solution because CISOs are getting increasing amount of responsibility and more challenges to secure all the devices. So it's very important for CISOs to adopt the right tools, the intelligent automatic tools to help them address these challenges.
Well said. It's always a pleasure to get to know your insights. I know you've had this vast experience with customers and also building the product itself. So thanks again, Dr. Wong, for joining us today. And if you like this show, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, and visit paloaltonetworks.com. Thanks again.